I wonder if you could adjust your screen a little bit.
Oh.
Your ceiling is very nice, but I'd rather see your face.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so just press got it, and then we'll kick start. So thank you everyone for joining us today again. David, off you go. Can you say something before we start meditating?
Okay, so hello everyone, and I am delighted to see you all. Martin, I don't think we've met before. No, is this your first time joining us? If you'd like to unmute.
Yes, sorry, I couldn't find the button. Hello, yes, it's my first time today. I've managed to find a bit of space in my working day.
Okay.
I've been hoping to come along for a little while, and I've finally made it.
Good.
And also the lorry turning has decided to stop just at a perfect time as well.
Okay. So just to remind everyone then, we started Mindfulness Mondays 5 or 6 years ago, working with the Health and Social Care Partnership in the Health Village. And I think most of the people here today have either been part of that or part of one of our courses. And in the Health Village, we typically would have, over the 2 sessions that we used to run there, we would probably typically have 20 to 30 people. The Health Village have been helpful to make the Zoom event more widely known, and it'll take time to build up again. And for the moment, we're not going to be able to return to the Health Village. So what we've done instead is restarted the face-to-face Mindfulness Mondays on the last Monday of the month at Credo in John Street in the city centre. And that's the reason why the Zoom online event has moved to the second Monday. So the pattern will now be Zoom online event, second Monday of the month, and face-to-face at Credo in John Street, the final Monday of the month. And at Credo, there are 2 sessions. One will be from 12 to 1 and the other from 1 till 2, with a little bit of time for people to move in and out so they're not bumping into each other too much. And I think it's right to say our face-to-face sessions work quite well. We got, Jean was there as well as myself, and we got quite a lot of dialogue going. And it felt as though people were happy to be out again and in these face-to-face meetings. And everyone was quite confident because we'd put COVID control places in place with seating between 1 and 2 meters apart. It's a big hall up there. People felt confident to take the face covers off as well, operating under cafe rules. So that was quite good to see. And as I say, we got really good engagement from people and discussion and conversation. And with a bit of luck, the next one at the end of October, last Monday in October, the numbers will increase a little bit. So if any of you want to join us, that's the time to come along, 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, Mindfulness Monday at Credo. And of course, that begs the question, what is mindfulness? And we've had lots of opportunities to practice mindfulness in our everyday lives because life is very good to us. It gives us lots of opportunities to practice. And the analogy I like to use is if you fill a milk bottle with water and you put some sand and some mud and some little stones in it, and give it a good shake up, you'll see a very cloudy, muddy bottle of water. If you give it a few days to settle, the heavier grit will settle first, and then some of the soil, and then some of the sand. And above that, you'll have clear water. And I know that because I've done it and shown it to some of you. And mindfulness is a little bit like that. When our minds get disturbed, all shaken up, angry, agitated, full of anxiety, it's like that bottle shaken up with muddy water. We can't see clearly, we can't think clearly. And if we can't think clearly and we can't see clearly, then we can't speak clearly, we can't make logical judgments, we can't reach decisions, and we react in unhelpful ways to situations. We sometimes react with anger, react with upset, sometimes we can react physically. And that's because our minds are clouded by all the junk that life throws at us all the time, day in, day out. But if we meditate and calm the mind, that water starts to clear. The grit settles first, and if there's too much grit, it can stick with us for quite a long time. And every now and then that grit comes back to upset us, something that's really stuck there. And I'm sure all of you know sometimes you have that feeling in your stomach that something's really bothering you and you can't get rid of it. And it goes around in your head. But if we settle the mind with mindfulness meditation practice, the sand settles, that mucky soil settles, and eventually the mind becomes clear. But it takes practice. And with practice, we unlearn the habits of a lifetime. We've learned how to react to situations in different ways, sometimes helpfully, but often unhelpfully. And with mindfulness meditation, as the mind calms, calm abiding mind, calm abiding meditation, we call it, as the mind settles, then we can see clearly. If we can see clearly, we can react clearly, we can think clearly, we can speak clearly, we can respond in a helpful way to situations rather than unhelpful ways. So this is mindfulness meditation practice, the practice of calming the mind. Sometimes we call it the monkey mind. And by calming the monkey mind, we develop our awareness, we develop our insight, and if we develop that insight, we learn new habits to think, speak, act, respond in helpful ways rather than unhelpful ways. And importantly, helpful ways not just for ourselves, because helpful ways for others. Because we're interdependent. We're not independent, we're interdependent on others. Everything we do, everything we say, everything way we act have an impact on other people. So it's always useful, I think, to remind ourselves what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is developed by meditating, calming the mind, seeing how the mind works. But its real value is in our everyday lives. When we learn to say, stop, notice how the mind is reacting. take a step back. My favorite phrase is stop, breathe, no big deal. Most things that make us angry, that upset us, that create anxiety are really no big deal. So we can learn to say, stop, let that go. Unlearn the habits of a lifetime. And that then allows us to focus clearly on the stuff that we really need to be clear about. That's mindfulness meditation. And the way we develop mindfulness meditation is simply by practicing day in, day out to unlearn the habits of a lifetime. And life gives us wonderful opportunities to practice that, particularly the internet. I've just spent this morning trying to find out why KLM reimbursed me for a £400 airfare that we couldn't take, with one voucher worth £4.99. And if you go onto the internet, it's impossible to speak to anyone. They now want to use Messenger, WhatsApp, email. And it's so frustrating. And every organization is doing this now, keeping you, the customer, at a distance. Not making it easy, as they say on the website, but making it more difficult. Because all you want to do is speak to a human being and solve your problem. And this provides wonderful practice for mindfulness, I'm afraid. So with that, I'll stop talking, pass back to Ajahn, who will lead us in some further mindfulness meditation practice and some discussion.
Okay, so thank you very much, David, for timely input that everyone is facing at this time, and which is not new at the moment. Day in, day out, I also hear a few people are talking about these difficulties and this money-making machine that has been developed recently, that we all have to go and do it. So a mindfulness meditation basically means leaving everything behind. Don't worry about what's coming in. This is be here and now. It is the power of here and now. Normally, as you may have seen me saying, mindfulness and mindfulness. Now we are not in a state of mindfulness when we are doing mindfulness. So we just need to be mindful what's going on and how to deal with that. Because life, the moment when we're born, we face the difficulties. It's a very difficult exam, very hard to fix it. Some would say after my death, it will be done, but it is not the case. Still, there's something to go. All what you need to do is whatever time you have, keep calm and so-called carry on. You may have seen pamphlets saying, keep calm and carry on, facing exam mindfully. So all the difficulties that we face, all the problems that we are facing at the moment, calmly, mindfully, and carry on. And that's the mindfulness, isn't it? And what are the main distractions that we are facing? All the distractions that are coming from our connection with outer world. The eye sees, ear hears, and basically we are a human being that we have to have an interaction with other people. But normally we have a greater interaction. Not only observing it, we want to absorb it. Not only watching it, we want to take it inside us. And that changes the entire perspectives, entire perception. And that is the root cause of this is and that is, and why this is me. What's happening? And the recent from last year, internet become a major problem. You can't avoid it and you can't have it. And that's another trouble. Now, mindfulness is basically returning back to yourself. So remembering while we are coming into contact with all these situations, all these problems, and listening it very carefully, deep listening. Whatever information we are seeing, we are hearing, we are reading, or whatever, and remembering to be mindful, present moment. And recollecting what is the instruction. Leave the past. Don't worry about the future. Just to breathe. Just to be with your body. Feel the sensations. And reminding to be who you are, where you are, what you're doing. And again, when you are thinking about it, recollecting about it, going back again and again, then these all becomes no problem. Okay? So with this in mind, let's practice. So sit in a comfortable position, see that how much is affecting you and how much you can let go and how much you can enjoy this moment by observing yourself. Right? So with the gong, as you hear the gong, right, first of all, you can listen the gong until it fades away, and then simply bring your attention to the body, feel the entire body, and then bring that attention to your breath. Okay? And observing that breath. So let's start. So bring your attention to observe the entire body. Feel the presenceness of your body here and now. Feeling the entire body. If you're sitting on a cushion, feel the cushion touching your body. If you're sitting on a chair, feel the chair is holding you. Feel the pressure. And let go of all the past. Let go of all the future. Just be here. Embracing your entire body. Feeling the entire body. And slowly bring that attention to your breath. Natural breath, normal breath. At this moment, whatever past incidents comes, any memories, any thoughts, or things that is bothering you, Now, whenever you think about that one, or if that thought comes in, feel the tension in your brain, the vibration, the chemical change, the twists and turns that takes place in your brain, the heaviness in your back of eyes, abnormality of your breath. So rather than looking or observing at the contents, just feel that whatever you can observe in your body. So give a full attention to what's happening in your body. And a breath is there to anchor you rather than going off to thoughts, feelings, just back to the breath. And spend some time observing the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. What happens in your belly? Belly rise and falls. So this breath, incoming and outgoing, rise and fall, is just the anchor to disconnect. So we are intentionally disconnecting all those thoughts, all those worries, all those problems, and anchoring. So that we are basically paying attention to that anchor. In order to unite the entire mind rather than scattered all around. When mind is scattered, thoughtless, very disorganized, and we do not know which one I should pay attention to. We do not know which one should I pay attention and take it as a main object. So scattered mind causes trouble. Now we are paying attention to one object to begin with. It's basically disconnecting all those scattered mind and uniting into one. We normally have this automatic pilot going on inside us. We like to react immediately towards guilt, towards regrets, failure, disappointments, and fear and worries. Now here, rather than let the mind deal with it automatically engaging on that, we are taking control. So mindfully being aware of our own body, sitting here, observing the breath coming in, going out. So rather than let the mind go and indulge itself, proliferating and engaging, we simply let it go, disconnect, and connecting the object that we have adopted. So mindfully paying attention to the breath, incoming, outgoing, rising, falling. Now remember, when there is a negative thoughts or the unwanted thought come, that moment, do not try to resist. Do not try to push it away, but observing it. Seeing this in a right way, or having a right attitude to those thoughts, those distractions. Seeing that this is just for temporarily. As long as I give attention to it, it persists. If I do not pay attention to it, it will go. So right attitude here basically accept it has come, acknowledge that this is there, and this moment observing it objectively, and let it be. Rather than resist, thus it is. There is a saying saying, attitude changes everything. And this attitude helps us to see clearly things, the thoughts, the distractions, whatever is bothering us. We will be able to comprehend that whether it is benefit or not. I am thinking about it. Is it beneficial? Is it real? Is it appropriate? So having a clear knowing about it. And whenever you have acknowledged by these 4 words, observe, acknowledge, note, and let go, back to the primary object, back to the moment here and now. So rather than our mind is full of all those stuffs, we become mindful of those stuff and disconnected. So intentionally paying attention to these objects with the right attitude is the real happiness. The moment here and now. always remember to back to your primary object if you're really lost. And breathing in, breathing out, rising, falling. So as you hear a gong, you can slowly come out from meditation. Okay, so this is a short some reflection and a guided meditation. We still have 20 minutes, so I will leave a few minutes for the discussion. And if you have any questions to ask or anything you want to share, then you are most welcome. No? Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, David. You have to unmute, David. We can't hear you.
Yes, that's better. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. In our practice, generally we teach to observe. Of course, we can't see the breath, so we have to observe it. And the meditation object we normally use is the abdomen, the area below the rib cage, because that expands and contracts. And so we can observe the breath rising and falling at the abdomen, expanding and contracting. I'm often asked, and I know people often wonder, where else they can observe the breath. that is okay for meditation practice. And generally speaking, I talk about at the nostril. We can observe the breath flowing in and out at the nostril. We can feel the sensation there. Does it actually matter where you observe the breath, as long as we're observing the breath in our initial practice?
So, in the practice of a meditation, no one has told you that you should watch your breath at your nose. Will you know it? You wouldn't. I remember 10 years ago when I mentioned about meditation, and then I said, do you know where is the breath? No one knows. All over the world. And then even in a health village, when I told them that, do you know where is the breath? Nobody knows. Do you know you are breathing? They know they are breathing. And I told that suppose you breathe in and you do not breathe out, what happens? And suppose you breathe out and you do not breathe in, what happens?
Dead.
And it's dead. And it's still, we do not know. But nowadays, when we talk about meditation, it's been on news and everybody's talking that meditation is to pay attention to the breath at your nose. So we perceived it and we taken it as our knowledge that when we meditate, we should pay attention to the breath. So breath here in the nose, that normally people think about it. And this is an easy way to think too. And this is the beginning of the breath. But when we observe our entire body, we see that the breath is not that when we locate and we want to know, and that's our desire. That's the only place that we want to pay attention to it. But it's about inner understanding, inner knowing. If I never told you, or if you never practiced it before, when I ask you, suppose when I ask you, watch your breath, where your attention will go? A place where there's something is happening. Because mind needs some interaction. It's like a baby. If there is no interaction, the baby will feel bored and will confused. Our mind is like that too. So mind simply will go somewhere there is interaction going on. And that's how normally we begin to see movements in your belly. Without giving you any instruction that you should pay attention to the breath at the nose, our attention will go to the belly or the chest. Because there is some interaction going on. Now, purpose of the practice of a meditation, now we have to understand there are two different practices. One is the concentration meditation, and another one is it's called insight meditation. In a concentration meditation, we have to have an object to anchor. So it's like nowadays when children are crying, they will just give you, take a phone and play, and the baby will go quiet. So that is the concentration meditation. So you have given your mind to watch something, so you will enjoy, at least. Okay, enjoy and spend time observing that. And that is called the anchor. So you are, with your intention, deliberately, you are paying attention to disconnect all other distractions that you do not like it. And then with the thought that you are trying to delete all other things that you dislike. So you are observing one object, or you're adapting one object. And that's how the object is given to pay attention to it. And the breath now knows, or a breath, when it comes and goes out, it's the beginning of the breath, and which is given to you. It's just an anchor. And in this practice of anchoring, you can use any object. Doesn't matter the breath, any object. Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Tree, Suchan, Achan, Sujan, David, Alison, Margaret, whatever you like. You can use whichever object you feel connected, you can use it. Use that as a mantra. Yeah, they're called mantra. Have you ever heard mantra? Like in a transcendental meditation, they will also use the mantra to chant. And there are other meditation techniques. They also use mantra. In Buddhism also, there are mantras, so many mantras, like a Buddho, like a Samma Arahang, Arahang, so many. In a chunk, categorized into 40 different types. You can pay attention to gain the concentration. So breath is one of them. And the reason breath is given has a popularity because it is applicable for all. And it is with us all from the day one when we were born. So that's why the breath is given. So it doesn't matter where you feel comfortable, you can use the breath to pay attention to. And if you feel uncomfortable paying attention to the breath, and you feel the lights, you feel the energy from the universe, it's okay. No problem. The matter is, do you know what is happening? Do you have a right attention to it or not? Do you have a right attitude to it or not? Yeah? And if you can develop right attention, right attitude, and ability to be mindful of your daily routine, that's fine. That's why there are practice in everyday life. When you're brushing your teeth, when you're walking to the toilet, walking to the kitchen, walking to your bed, drinking a tea, eating a food, you're drinking a water, you can be mindful. Yeah? That's called, whatever you are doing, you are being mindful. That is the most key and important part here of the practice of meditation. And everything, like earlier, beginning, I have said, everything what's happening inside us here is because something came and we connect. We connect. Like this called sensory activity. Whatever comes through the sense, it becomes active in our thoughts, and in this called a working memory. So we are working with that sensory objects that come. And if we revisiting that working memory again and again, if that's become a dominant, that becomes saved in our subconsciousness. Now in psychology, it is called long-term memory. It goes into the long-term memory. When that becomes saved in your long-term memory, that will shape your behavior, the way you think, the way you behave, the way you talk. So all the behaviors will change. And this is what exactly meditation does. Meditation is helping you to prevent any negativities going into the long-term memory. You're observing them when it comes to contact with you. You're mindful of it, and you have a right attitude that this comes and goes, it changes, and you are not taking it into. And this is how gradually you will develop this the positive mind, right? And you become a happy person. So everything becomes, that's okay, I know, and then let it be. So if you really want to develop this so-called like let's say maybe okay, that's enough. So you just need to be mindful of whatever you're doing. Brushing your teeth. Now, okay, this would be a task, right? For 2 weeks task, because in 2 weeks time, you're going to meet in the corridor, right? So 2 weeks time, learn to be mindful when you're brushing your teeth. Let's say how many times you move your brush. Learn. Now, if I ask you how many stairs in your house, do you remember? No? Yeah, so yeah, Margaret does. Okay.
I know, because I've got to climb them.
So now you can pay attention to climbing up the stairs.
I always
Climbing
do.
up, and then when you go down, each steps. Now think about drinking a tea or a coffee. Feel it. Feel the warmness, feel the smell. And when you drink it, feel what sort of the chemical changes takes place, the warmness in your mouth. And when it goes in along this, the so-called this pipe, you can see that it goes in and up to the belly, and you feel, what a wonderful. Observing that. Okay, so there will be 4 tasks: brushing teeth, up and down in your stairs, drinking a tea, and eating. So drinking a tea and observing what happens, or eating whatever happens. So observe that. Okay, so 4 tasks to practice. 2 weeks time, if you're not going to Credo, then 1 month task, and see what have you noticed. Okay, so I end here. Anybody wants to say anything? Otherwise, we practice loving kindness meditation. This is a long homework. Okay, right. In that case, so let's do the loving kindness meditation to finish off for today. Okay, so sitting in comfortable position. And reflect. Reflect yourself, the moment that you have given to yourself. You may reflect, how much have you changed within an hour, before meditation and after meditation? And allow yourself to be happy. What a wonderful day. Wonderful moment. I feel happy. So each moment when we smile and feel happy, we are here in the moment. Present moment. We are connected with our body. So mind and a body unites. Mind and the body is here. And telling to yourself, I am happy. I am happy. I am free. And similarly, sharing loving kindness and compassion to all other beings. As you feel happy, send that happiness to all other beings. Maybe someone who is close to you or who really needs it. And bring into your mind and sharing it. May you be well, may you be happy, may you be at peace. May you be free from suffering. Be happy. So mindfulness means having a heart in the present moment with yourself. I'm happy because my heart is with me. As I'm happy, I share this happiness to you all. And all sentient beings, be happy, be peace, be well, free from suffering. So as you hear gong, slowly opening your eyes and come out from meditation and reflect for a few moments. Okay, so thank you very much and wish you all the best. May you all be well and happy and see you sometime soon with the homework.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you.